I still way too much strain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
Everyone, this is Blue Nova, and I'm bringing you a new tutorial on Tory Lanez's song called I Sip. Basically, I'm going to show you how to get the same exact quality. And before I jump into this, I've been having a weird problem with my laptop. I got the fan fixed already, but it's making a loud buzzing sound. You can probably hear in the background and maybe a little bit in the vocal. But I'm gonna try to get that problem solved real soon. But if you just to let you know, that's why the buzzing sound is happening. So the first thing we have is the AT2020 VST, and what I did is have the input type on soprano voice, the key G, the scale minor, and I put the retune speed at 10. And just make sure you copy all these other values like I've always mentioned in my videos. If you don't have Antares AutoTune, you can use Picture in FL Studio. Just make sure to set the key and the scale in the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and play, and we'll double check, make sure everything is not playing on the master. So we'll go ahead and play this.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
So the next thing we have is the Fruity Parametric EQ2. A lot of people, if you're a big Tory Lanez fan, you don't even have to be like a big fan. You just notice that he has like really tight and crisp vocals. So I went ahead and cleaned out a lot of the low frequency, and some of the mid, really just bringing up the high frequency really just did the job. So I'll play what I have.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
So you know, just like a lot of sibilants, like in a high frequency, like you hear the how intense it is. But we'll go ahead and take care of that later with the de-esser that we have. The next thing we have is a sound goodizer. What I did I went ahead and selected A, and I brought it up to about, it's kind of hard to really just count, but the amount, I just turned it up a little bit. I guess you can count 1, 2, 3 up to the third one, and this is what it's gonna sound like.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
So now that we have that, we're gonna have the de-esser to take care of those high frequencies. And what I did, the frequency is at 5,506. Sidechain, make sure to select high pass and bring your threshold down to -38. And this is what it's gonna sound like.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
So the next thing we have is Fruity Reverb 2. And with Tory Lanez vocals, there's always like a lot of reverb in it. A lot of, I guess you can say, traveling reverb. And I guess like how I say the reverb travels, is like the high cut in there. It kind of gives like that crisp, I guess the crisp end of a vocal, it'll kind of travel through rather than just being cut and kind of sounding more like it's like filtered or boxed in. So we'll go ahead and play exactly what I'm trying to explain right now. So
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies. This blunt got me.
So now that you see what I'm talking about, the high cut is really just making that, I guess, like the crisp end of the vocal to travel. So you can go ahead and pause the screen and get these settings. Just if you want to be more exact, you can get on the site bluenovabeats.com. And the last thing on here is the Fruity the Fruity limiter. And the attack, we're gonna have it at 2.20 milliseconds. Release all the way down to 0. In the head, you want to keep it at 9.89 milliseconds. What I did, I noticed Tory Lanez vocals on this song specifically was like at -6 decibels, and I brought the ceiling down to about that range, and just bring the gain up to hit the ceiling.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.
So right here you see the vocals getting at -6 decibels.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think.
So after we have that, the next thing is the background vocals. He had like some really light background vocals, and basically what I went ahead and did is this is what I did for the EQ. Went ahead and just cut out some of this. I didn't cut out as much as I did in the first one, but I brought the band, just cut out all this, put it at like 55 hertz at 100, and just make sure it just dips at around like 50, and it's just like an initial EQ that we're gonna have in the beginning, just to fill in. The next thing I have is another Parametric EQ2. I brought it up to 100 hertz, and this was gonna sound like all together. We'll go ahead and just play this. Let me turn off the rest.
Dang. Lies.
Next thing we have is a Fruity Limiter, and what I went ahead and did, if you load in the Fruity Limiter, just don't adjust any settings, it'll come up as this. I brought the limiter down to about 9 decibels.
Dang. Lies.
The next thing we have is Sound Good Ozone, and I brought the I put in and selected A, and I brought the it's kind of hard just to make sure, just to estimate it. I just brought this about right here, and this is what it's gonna sound like.
Dang. Lies. Lies.
The next thing we have is Maximus, and for the master, we can go ahead and just bring this up anyway. For the high, I just brought the high down. I brought the first band to -6 and the second to about -12.
Dang. Lies. Lies. Try.
For the low, I just went ahead and just cut the band down to -18, just in case we didn't want any of the low end to go past that. So for the Fruity Reverb 2, like I said, a lot of reverb in the background vocals, and I noticed the size of the room sounded different. It sounded like it was in a, I guess, more of a circle or box space. That's why the size of the room is really adjusted, you know, smaller. And the high cut, I brought it all the way to the middle, and you can really just freeze this screen and just copy down all these settings.
Dang. Lies. Lies.
And the last thing is just a Fruity Limiter, and just went ahead and just bring down the ceiling to -6 decibels, and just bring up the gain. If your vocals aren't sitting there, just bring up the gain to -6.
Dang. Lies. Lies.
But on here, what you really want the vocal to be at is -18 decibels, because the vocals here at -6, so you really just want these like the background vocals to be in the background. So this is what it's gonna sound like together.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies. This blunt got me too high.
So the next thing it has just a snap. You can go ahead and add your own snap to whatever if you're covering this song. But I went ahead and just did it just to fill in that space that I noticed in the actual song, and I just added a kick. But aside from that, we're really just focusing on the vocal mixing. The instrumental didn't adjust anything. I really just chopped the original song, just looped it. And just as a disclaimer, I'm just doing it as an example. We're really just focusing on the vocal. So the equalizer, what we're gonna do on here is really just cut in to about 15,126 hertz. And how you go ahead and do that, go to the 8th band, click this drop down, low pass, brick wall, and then just drag it in to where it hits 15,126. And then the last thing is Ozone 5 maximizer, and basically just keep the threshold to 0 and the margin to 0, and you're really just gonna be set. And we'll listen to how it sounds like.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies. This blunt got me too high. I won't try to pretend. Cause you.
So that pretty much wraps up this mix. If you have any questions, email me at bluenovabeats@gmail.com. Go to my website, bluenovabeats.com, to get this FLP and just to get the exact thing that I did on this video. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll make sure to be more consistent. I'm really gonna try to get this fan problem fixed or whatever is wrong with my laptop very, very soon. But thank you all for watching.
I still way too much drain. I don't think I can think. I won't try to tell lies.